Hey, how's it going? John here, and I just wanted to shoot a quick video here, do a little screen share. I've been thinking a lot about this idea, and I know this is a common debate that we all have, is that what is better for creating our online business? Is it email? Is it social media? Now, obviously, they both work very well together, particularly social media for lead generation. But what about generating sales? What about the core fundamentals of creating an online business, which is really generating sales, building an audience, and building retention with that audience, a relationship with that audience, building know, like, and trust with that audience. So let's look at some interesting things that I found on email versus social media. And if you see my screen here, I did a screen search rather on Google for these terms, email versus social media statistics. And I found several articles. Kissmetrics has a good article on it. There's a few good infographics as well. But there's several articles here that will talk about email versus social media. And the writing is very clear on the wall that email by far absolutely dominates social media as far as online sales, even today. And, you know, I think Kissmetrics does a good job of laying this out as to why. You know, it's more of a selling environment. It's more of a professional environment than social media. A lot of times people aren't on social media to buy stuff. They're on there to, interact with their friends, which makes sense, right? So email is more professional. It's more of a professional standpoint. There's a lot more people getting emails, believe it or not, than social media. And it's more targeted, right? So how many social media posts you think happen from your friends each day? I mean, tons of them, right? Versus how many emails do you get in your inbox? It's a lot less. And it's a lot easier to be more intimate, more focused with somebody through email than through social media. I think that's pretty clear. I looked at this as well. So it begged to differ, what's the best way to build your list? And that was the next question, right? So if email is better, and I've seen some, if you go to this Google search and start digging through some of these articles, you're going to see, I think email was like ridiculously higher, like $12 per email versus like $1 or something for social media, from actually making money through your online efforts. So take a Google of this and see what you think too, but it seems pretty clear that, and just from my own experience too, email dominates social media as far as online sales, list building, obviously building an audience, building rapport with people. In my experience, it hasn't even been close. So then the question is, what's the best way to build a list? I typed that into Google. Derek Halpern had a really nice article here, and I think he put it very well as to why email is so much better again, and a few tips on optimizing your website and stuff. But I think, as only Derek can do, he has some really nice, straightforward, pointed advice as to why email should be a priority for your online business, not just from a financial standpoint, but from a audience building standpoint, right? I mean, if you have someone's email address, if they've given you permission and you're building a relationship with them, you're just going to be able to build further relationships with them in a more focused, intimate manner than social media, which is just busier. It's just busier. Twitter, Facebook, there's just feeds going through. You don't see everybody's posts, but every time, more or less, not every time based on email deliverability, but oftentimes they're going to see that email every time you send it, if they have a good connectivity with you, versus a social media post. It's noisier, it's more casual. And so then it begs to differ, and I've been searching for this as well today. What are the best ways to build a list? What are the best ways? And I couldn't really find anything. And what I was looking for is, if email is the best, what is the best way to build our email list, right? So if email is clearly the winner, then how best should we build our email lists? And so I've looked for statistics on ranking by medium. So podcasting, videos, webinars, what are the best ways statistically to actually build an email list then? And I couldn't really find a lot. And I looked this morning for about an hour, couldn't find anything. So If any of you guys know of any resources out there, I'm definitely looking for those. I want to share my experiences, and I know a lot of people in the marketing space. I've been in there myself for a little while now, and I want to share what I feel are, kind of an order for creating an email list, building an email list. And I'm going to start with the most difficult, in my opinion, in my experience, and from what I've gathered from others, and then work my way up to what I feel is the best way to build an email list. So let's start with the first one, and in my opinion, the most difficult. And I know I have a lot of friends in this space, and I've known a lot of people that have had huge success from a downloads perspective, but a very difficult time creating an email list. So, in my opinion, and from my experience, and from what I know from others, audio podcasting is the most difficult to build your email list. And I think that just makes sense, right? People are on the go. They're in their car, they're at the gym, they're doing other things besides, texting something to opt in or going to a website to opt in. They're usually on the go for a good part of that. So I know you can do like SMS, text 33444 to get a free guide. And I'm sure that does help a lot. And I'm sure that podcasting is going to figure that out. I'm waiting for the day they have verbal opt-ins, which is probably $1 billion idea or $1 million idea right there. But as of right now, it's been, for me, when I had a podcast, very difficult to get people to sign up for an email list. Even if you give them a link or a verbal, go here to this, it's just not conductive for list building, in my opinion. Recorded video. So videos that's been recorded, like YouTube videos. YouTube is a great traffic source. I use it every day and get leads from it. It's pretty good in my experience, right? You can link out of a video. When people are watching a video, hopefully they're not driving their car. Hopefully they're focused, they're on their computer or their mobile device, and they are, watching that video. So recorded video, by its nature, people are generally paying attention to it. They're pretty engaged with it. It's a little bit better for collecting leads. And blogging, blogging, the written word is still very powerful. This is something I'm looking to do more of in the near future. I've never been a huge blogger, but I've seen it, and I've seen it with others. I've had some good results myself. It just makes sense, right? It's easy to put links into things. It ties in well with the text. It's easy for somebody. They're paying attention in real time to a blog post. So they're not driving, they're not distracted. They're usually focused on reading that post. They're getting intimate with the writer or the author of the post, and then it's just super easy just to have a link to something. And when you combine blogging with other traffic sources like writing for large websites or other mediums where there's a lot of traffic already, it really is a powerful way to build your list. So I think that's one of the tops. And then my favorite is online events, live online events. So webinars, summits, teleseminars. I can't tell you how many people I've talked to. This is my own experience. I mean, this is how I've added 5,000 emails this last year to my list, which was webinars, right? Hosting webinars, joint venture webinars. People will give their name and email address for an online event, right? Like a webinar, a teleseminar, a summit. These things, I know they've becoming more popular, right? And the old teleseminar model, I can't tell you how many people I've talked to that have gotten huge email lists from these things. Hosting a live event, which creates buzz, having people opt in to receive that information and be a part of it is a really great strategy for building an email list. Now, of course, once you build your list, if you just let it sit there or you don't really talk to the people and build the relationship from there, it's not going to do you much good. As well. So there's the front end, which is building that list, and then the back end, which is obviously building the relationship with those people, and that's equally important, if not more so. Otherwise, you just have an email list, great numbers, but they're dead and they're not talking to you, and it doesn't do you any good. So that's my list. I would love to hear what your thoughts are. Again, I couldn't find any hard data on this, so this is my opinion, but I've definitely tried all of these and know a lot of people in the industry as well who I would think would likely agree with this order, but I'd love to hear your thoughts and opinions on what works best for you. So this is John. Take care. I'll see you on the next one.